But I would also, I would look at Jaxson Dart as a guy that's now been through this process in Mobile. He's going to have GMs and scouts and coaches coming through there, sitting him down, putting him on the board. Going to have a pro day. I don't know what he'll do with the combine, but there are going to be plenty of opportunities for him to convince the National Football League that he's one of the top 32 best players in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
And so I think that's available. I think it's realistic. I think it's realistic. I also think that, that what I mentioned with some of the deficiencies of Shedeur Sanders, he's going to have the opportunity as well to impress or to kind of – because I think the thing with Shedeur, there was so much going on around him, right, that Jaxson Dart didn't have. Like, Jaxson Dart didn't have the circus, didn't have any of the things going on constantly around him that a lot of people would deem to be potential distractions, things that can get you off your game. Ole Miss was a much better football team than Colorado, so Jaxson Dart had much better players and at certain positions and as a team as a whole than Shedeur Sanders did. So all of those things are going to be scrutinized and they're going to be put under a microscope. And at the end of the day, beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
That's right.
Everybody's going to have a feel for this
Yeah.
and a feel for that. And they're going to think, well, this guy would fit in great with what we do. And maybe this guy, we think he's really, really good, but maybe just not quite for us. I mean, the internal conversations that happen in those rooms really divvy into the minute details. And they should, because you're making, a $50 million investment for hopefully what's going to be the face of your franchise for 10 years, and you can't screw it up.
Right. So with the demand, though, at that position, and with it being a thin class, sure looks like it bodes well for Jaxson Dart. Okay, so I'm going to read off ESPN.com. You may have read this. You may have contributed to it. But this was going into the Senior Bowl, Luke's. Tom Luginbill with ESPN on the Out of Bounds show, hanging out with us. Which QB has the best chance to emerge as the class QB3 with a big week? He may have moved up even more than that. But this AFC scout said, and I quote, I want to get your reaction, I'm interested to see him outside of that scheme with Lane Kiffin because everything's so manufactured with where he's supposed to go. I think the traits are good, and there's always one guy that surges up after the all-star circuit. Now, to the scout's point, 34% of Dart's passes this season were deemed as wide-open passing attempts, 11th highest in the FBS among all signal callers. Your thoughts, Luke?
Well, I think there's really one person you can point to that would lead that scout or executive to make the assessment he's made, and his name's Matt Corral. So I think that when you look at the players that have played in that scheme and if or how they have transitioned, clearly you've got Tua. Clearly you've got Jalen Hurts. All right, so there's two right there. But then you're probably going to have a handful here and there that haven't panned out, haven't moved on, no matter how talented they've been. Maybe there's some credence to plays being manufactured, half-field reads, oversimplifying, not putting too much on the quarterback's plate, and does that really develop them and prepare them for what's going to happen at the next level? That's why I think, when you get a guy on the board and you put him up there and you just start pelting him with things, and how he responds is a really critical component to the quarterback evaluation side of things. And because you're trying to test what he knows. And then if he knows it, how quickly can he process it? If he doesn't know it, that's going to tell you something right there as well. And so I think that there's flaws in every assessment of a scheme that a quarterback has come from. Look at the air raid. Look at the true air raid. Try to name more than 3 guys, and 2 of them come to mind right now. I'd have to come up with a third. Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff. Try and name more than 3 guys that have come from the true air raid since, 97, when Tim Couch came out of Kentucky, which was 99. Name any that have panned out.